the Resurrection Kings podcast. This is episode 1. Something's off, and you know it. You ever have that feeling where nothing's actually wrong, but something's not right? Like, on paper, things hold together. You're working, you're providing, you're handling what needs to get handled, and you're not falling apart, but you're not really settled either. And it becomes this hard to explain to anyone sort of situation. Because if you tried, it would almost sound ungrateful. So you end up not saying anything. You just carry it. I used to wake up with it. Not every day, but enough that I started noticing a pattern. There'd be this moment before I grabbed my phone, before the day started, where something in me felt heavy. Not panic, not anxiety, just off. And I got really good at just ignoring it. Because here's the thing. When you're a man, a husband, a father, a dude, you don't get rewarded for slowing down and figuring yourself out. You get rewarded for producing, for solving, for showing up no matter what. So that's what I did. I stayed busy. I stayed moving. I stayed focused on what was in front of me. And from the outside, it probably looked like everything was working. But there's a version of yourself that just doesn't care how things look. It only cares if it's true. And that version, it doesn't yell. It doesn't interrupt your day. It just waits. Early in the morning, late at night, in the quiet, in the truck, sometimes in the shower. And it just kind of lets you feel it, that something's off. Not enough to blow your whole life up yet, but enough to know if nothing changes, something eventually is going to give. And this is where most guys get stuck, right here. Because there's no crisis. There's no big failure. There's no moment that forces you to deal with it. So you learn how to live with it. You build around it. You justify it. You tell yourself, this is just part of being a man. But it's not. And I didn't understand that for a long time. I thought the answer was out there. More work, more structure, more discipline. Fix something external, and the feeling would go away. But it never does. It never did. Because the problem wasn't what I was doing, it was what was happening underneath what I was doing. There were patterns, but I couldn't see them. There were thoughts I didn't question. There were beliefs I didn't even know I had. And they were running everything. That's the part that nobody likes to talk about. You can have your life dialed in on the outside and still feel like you're slowly drifting on the inside. And here's the dangerous part. You can live that way for years. I lived that way for decades. You can build a business there. You can raise a family there. You can even succeed there. But it's a hole that no matter what you try to stuff it with, you can't fill. Because something in you knows that this isn't it. And I'm not saying you need to blow your whole life up. And I'm not saying you need to quit everything and start over. And I'm not saying that you need to have a life-crushing rock bottom experience. That's not what this is. This is simpler than that and harder than that. This is about telling the truth, not to anyone else, but to yourself. Because that feeling, that something's off feeling, it's not random. It's not weakness. It's not burnout. And it's not you being ungrateful. It's awareness. It's the part of you that hasn't given up. And most guys, they just override it. They drown it out. They outwork it. They drink it out. They distract themselves from it. Because if you actually listen to it, you'd have to change something. And change is just uncomfortable, man. Especially when you can justify it and look around and say everything looks fine. But let me give you something to sit with. You don't need your life to fall apart to tell the truth. You don't need to hit rock bottom to admit something's off. You already felt it. And that's enough. And I'm not here to fix it for you today. That's not what this is. I'm here to do one thing, to say it out loud, so you can stop pretending that you didn't feel it. Because the second you stop pretending, everything starts to shift. And it's not all at once. This isn't about drama. It doesn't happen dramatically, but it does happen clearly. You start to see things you didn't see before. Those patterns that I missed. Reactions, decisions. You start to realize maybe the problem isn't out there. Maybe it's something deeper. And if that's true, then so is this. You're not stuck. You've just been running something you didn't even know was there. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's where this starts. That's where you get going. And it's not with motivation. It's not with the 5 a.m. club. It's not with hustle culture. It's not with a better plan. It's just with the truth. So if you felt something while listening to this, just don't brush it off. Don't go back to normal and pretend it didn't happen. Just sit with it, even for a minute. Because that feeling, that quiet awareness, that's not your problem. That's your starting point. And we're just getting started.